ready. Ready to get in the zone. Now, you're in the red zone with your host, Gene Ponte and Joey Pender.
Hey, good Wednesday evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us here on another edition of the Ross Downs Red Zone. I'm Gene Ponte, along with Joey Pender, joining you from Go Wings over here in Monroe, located right off of Desert Street, off of 165 as you kind of head to the university. A great place to bring the family and enjoy dinner. We had a nice packed house in here a week ago and hoping for more of the same. And in fact, just in a few, we're going to bring out some of their great food and let you kind of take a peek at that. Week number 9 of the regular season, we kind of called it Rivalry Week last Wednesday night.
Yep.
A lot of great matchups. Some of them played out as expected. Some were not anywhere near it.
And, you know, and Gene, some of those matchups go back for years.
Yeah.
The Haynesville Homer, I mean, that goes back to before the Model T was invented.
Yeah, even before.
You know, so, you know, that's pretty interesting, and some of them were good ball games.
Yeah, we had Gina Caldwell, West Monroe, Ouachita, Wassman Carroll. So it was one of those kind of weeks. And, of course, it's even harder to believe that we are knocking on the door to week number 10. Now, let me note, too, a lot of these coaches like to move their games from Friday night to Thursday night.
Yeah.
And as we kind of move along here in the next 60 minutes, I'll share with you what games are scheduled for Thursday night. Right now, I can tell you we've got 8 of them on the docket. So anyway, it's going to be one of those weeks where we've got football on Thursday and Friday. Before we take our first break, let's talk real quick about reclassification, because in between the last time we were on the air and then tonight, the LHSAW, okay, no more drinking for me. Anyway, they came out with the numbers for separation of classification. And right now, if you're going to say this is how we go, we're going to see West Ouachita and Ouachita in 5A. Madison drops down. I think Oak Grove's staying where they are. A lot of things can happen right now, Dave.
A lot of things. You know, they have to give them a couple of weeks to verify, you know, their numbers. So if they have a mistake made, you know, they can't complain and, you know, go down to Baton Rouge and, you know, sell their case. I think November the 7th, Gene, is when they're going to draw the lines for classification.
And this is just a speculating thought. We were kind of looking ahead to that 5A district or potential district. If West Ouachita joins Ouachita, Ruston, and West Monroe, the chances of them being just a 14 district, I can't imagine it being very good, because I know there will be some schools who don't want anything to do with them, but I know some of the schools like West Monroe that have a hard time filling the schedule will want to incorporate those schools maybe from over in Shreveport to make a 7 or 8 team district that will make scheduling a lot easier.
Well, you know, you take West Monroe for an example, like you brought up, they have a trouble getting games. They traveling all over, and a district game is a guaranteed game. So, you know, West Monroe and Ruston, those folks definitely want a big district. And, you know, on the other hand, I think Jeff Fitzgerald and Ouachita and maybe West Ouachita would want a small district. So, who knows?
Well, we will know here in the next week or so, and probably by the time we air next Wednesday night. But anyway, a lot to share with you tonight as it relates to high school football. We've got Neville in the house tonight. It'd be interesting to hear what Mickey McCarty has to say about their Week 10 finale. And the Sterlington Panthers are on deck. We'll sit down with Lee Doty after a break.
been a few years since my playing days.
Even longer for me, but the dedication to hard work,
The competition too, Dad.
has laid the foundation for the type of attorneys we are.
Our team at the Downs Law Firm is proud to support our local high school football programs.
All season long, you'll hear us on K104 Friday Night Scoreboard Show, and this year we're helping to raise money for local charities as part of our Game of the Week.
Winning on and off the field.
It's what we do.
Get in the game. Call Ross.
$2.99 for a Car Hop Classic. What a steal.
Steal. That's a heist. Put this on.
Disguise.
I don't think I can eat in this.
It's all part of the plan, my friend.
Get a quarter-pound double cheeseburger or a Slinger Plus Tots for $2.99. Try it today.
Body aches can be tough on your day-to-day life, but they're preventable. Chiropractic care is not about pills and surgery. It's about solving the problem, not just the symptoms, the natural way. If you have aches and pains or headaches, chiropractic care can get you back on the road to feeling better. In Northeast Louisiana, patients have relied on the professionalism of Dr. Bob Rendina at the Chiro Network Chiropractic Center in Ruston. You should too, and get back to living.
Fox 14, the official home for NFL and New Orleans Saints football.
All right, everybody, we are kicking the show off tonight with the Panthers of Sterlington, who I think had one of the biggest wins on Friday night, beating a very good Union Parish team up at their place. Lee Doty joining me to talk a little bit about that one. And I know you and I talked on the radio after that ball game, and I know you were thrilled about the win, but having looked at tape since then, well, that was a nice team effort, wasn't it?
It was a great team effort, and it was a big win for our program. I think Union Parish got one of the best teams around. I told you I thought they were a dome team, and I still think they are. I mean, they're big and physical and fast, and our kids had to go up there and play lights out Friday night, and we talked about it all week. Being tough and matching their intensity, and our kids went out there and laid it on the line.
I got to think that if you think they are, you must be one too, huh?
Well, I'm not saying that, but like I said, I know Union Parish has got a great football team. It was a big win for us.
Coach, you got a couple of guys who I know have been players for you. We've mentioned their name, whether it be through highlights or just in talk on the radio, so introduce them to me.
Well, I brought a couple of our defensive players this week. We got Willie Holloway, senior. He's our middle linebacker. He had the opportunity to fill the shoes of Dawson Snell, and he's done a heck of a job for us. And on the end here, I got Justin Fuller. He's our defensive end. He's a senior. This is Justin's second year starting defensive end. And, both of these guys getting better every week and great teammates and do all the little things right. So we're glad to have them here tonight.
Hey, well, welcome aboard. You too, by the way, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, Willie, let's talk about that, the defense, because you guys knew you were going to have to go into Union Parish playing solid because, boy, they do so many things well. They kind of throw the ball around a little bit more.
Yes, sir.
But talk to me about y'all's preparation going into the Farmers.
I don't know. The whole week, the practice, we just focused a lot better than we have, and I think that played a really huge part. Everybody knew that we had to go out there and play lights out football because Union has a good team. We couldn't go over there and play around with them. We had to stay focused throughout the whole week of practice.
And you guys have gotten better because you slowed down a pretty darn good Wassman team. I think it was the week prior to that, wasn't it? And then obviously played well. So y'all must be, I think y'all have gotten better on that side of football all year.
It's a bigger stadium, I guess. It was just a lot on the line, being a district game, in a district championship game, and we beat them last year, and we knew they wanted us. We knew we had to go out there and play as hard as we could to get that win.
Justin, let me ask you something about defensive end play. You got to play a defend against the run, and you're an edge player, so you got to kind of set that edge. What's your favorite part of playing defensive line? Is it defending the run or rushing the quarterback?
Rushing the quarterback. The guy in front of me, he's going to have to work all night. Because, he's not going to stop me. If Coach says go get him, we got to get him.
So, I know Coach Doty, I've been knowing him a long time, and Coach, it has to be a good feeling knowing it's late in the year to go up to a place like Farmerville and take on Spatafore and those guys and get a win. that has to kind of set the tone getting ready for the playoffs.
Well, we certainly hope so. You know, I thought earlier in the year, and I told people that I thought we had a team this year was going to get better every week. You know, we had some guys that were first-year starters for us, and we had to kind of work out some of the kinks and those type of things and get people used to playing, you know, for 4 quarters. But I really felt like our team would get better, and, you know, so far we have, you know, and I'm hoping this is going to carry us into playoffs and help us make a run.
There you go.
Hey, Willie, let's, I know you guys are on the defensive side of the football, but let's talk about your offense a little bit, because obviously you know what's going on over there as well. You guys lose CJ early in the year again, and even though he's kind of trickled back into play a little bit, that offensive y'all's continues to do great things, I think, and gives you a chance to win football games.
Yes, sir. I mean, they like come together, I think, more and more every week. You know, the O-line, they're like really close. They're almost like brothers. You know, they stay in there in the hog trough. We got a T-building out there that we call the hog trough, and they just watch film, you know, just steady, you know, all the time. And I think that's just like a bond between the O-line and just all the offensive people.
And Joe, you know, man, I mean, Lee, you know that's where football players get better. Those guys that are dedicated to not only practicing on the field, but doing film study.
Yeah, you know, Coach Foster does a heck of a job with our O-line. You know, our scheme allows us to do things that other teams probably don't get to do. You know, it wasn't a tailback game the other night. They shut down Dallas Rager. I think they held him to 26 yards. But, you know, our fullback, Jordan Townsend, had 14 carries, I think, for 114 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns. And, you know, we threw the ball 7 out of 8, I think, for 173 yards passing. So, you know, they're coming along. Coach Breen and them, they got us going. And, you know, hopefully just continue to get better.
I know several guys on your staff. I think you have one of the best staffs around. I mean, you got a great coaching staff. Mention some of those guys.
Well, I'm mighty proud of all of them, you know. Coach Sims, our head baseball coach, he does our secondary for us, along with R.J. Harrison. And Coach Brandon Pierce coaches our linebackers. He does a great job for us. Coach Jansen coaches our defensive line, and the guys respond very well to him. And offensively, you know, like I just mentioned, Coach Foster does our offensive line. I think he's one of the best O-line coaches around. Coach Breen handles our quarterback and our play calling, and you know him. He's been around a long time. And Brian Carter came on board this year and is coaching our running backs for us. He's been a really good addition. And Bucky Chandler does our receivers and handles almost all the other stuff that I don't want to for me. So
you got to have one of those, don't you?
And you know, we got a couple of young guys that are helping us, and you know, we got a good staff. It's no doubt, and I'm mighty proud of them. And you know, we get along fine, but you know, we don't always agree, and I think that makes us even better.
It does.
You know, we can get together and talk about things. So mighty proud of our football team and our coaching staff.
Hey, Justin, let me ask you a final question before we wrap things up about getting ready for the playoffs. That thing, you got a final game you got to take care of business with on Friday, but you want to be playing well going into it. Talk to me about the preparation mentally it takes to get ready for the postseason run.
Well, I mean, every practice we just got to put in the work, put in the focus, and just be the better man. Like, the other team, they want to be just as good as us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just got to put that effort forth, be better.
Only 2 years removed from the Superdome, Sterlington Panthers, everybody. Good football team, beat a good Union one, and we're looking forward to following them through the postseason. Coach, great seeing you, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, we'll wrap things up and move on to the rest of the teams in 3A ball when we come back.
Louisiana Delta Community College is your community college. Whatever your aspirations, we're here to help. We offer transfer degrees if you'd like to continue on to university life. We offer associate degrees that can take you to the workforce or to a university. We even offer programs that teach you only the skills you need for the job. And that's not all. If you think you missed out because you didn't earn your high school degree, we can even help with that. Call us today. We have 8 locations to serve you. Louisiana Delta Community College.
Hungry for a big juicy steak? How about a rack of barbecue ribs? Well, there's no better place for meat than Randall's Fine Meats. Juicy, fresh-cut 1855 steaks, boudin and boudin balls, daily rib specials, just $11.99 a slab, stuffed pork chops, fresh-made meat pies, boiled shrimp, fried cracklings, big bone chicken, and stuffed potatoes. Randall's caters. Call and let us cater your next event. It's fresh every day at Randall's Fine Meats on the corner of Old Sterlington Road and Fink's Hideaway in Monroe.
All right, everybody, we are back, and we appreciate you for joining us on tonight's big show. Before we start talking a little bit more football, let me remind everybody we still have 4 more weeks, but 3 weeks in order to get your application in for our Sonic Drive-In $2,000 scholarship that we're giving away. You'll see their commercial spots run through the course of the night, but let me tell you, if you're a senior, boy or girl, you can go by any Sonic Drive-In in Monroe, West Monroe, Winfield, or Jonesboro, your hometown, Big Daddy, and pick up an app, follow the instructions. It's just a short essay we're looking for and a couple of references, and we might be helping you go to college.
And you know, what a commitment that is to Sonic. Giving back to the community, giving back to our high schools. That shows that they really care.
No question about it, everybody. $2,000 scholarship. We'll be handing it out in about 4 weeks, so get by your Sonic today. We are off and running tonight with Class 3A football. Like you and I talked about last Wednesday, we were certainly looking forward to the matchup that was Sterlington at Union Parish. You and I both kind of thought that the Farmers were going to maybe have game, but boy, I got called down to the carpet a couple of times when we were on the radio the other night, even during the course of the week, that, man, Sterlington just played large. And as you look at some of the highlights, they took advantage early. They got themselves a defensive touchdown by Trey Edding to kind of get things rolling. And boy, they just got after it after that. Trent Gindo, however, for Union Parish, he's the guy that kind of makes it for them.
You know, Jalen Jones, a receiver, had 4 catches the other night, 111 yards, a touchdown. He had a good night. But the linebacker, Jared Singleton, had 12 solo tackles, Gene.
All right, well, we caught up with Coach Spatafore to talk a little bit about their Week 10 matchup with Wassman. Coach?
Very athletic. Dean does a good job of getting his kids up, motivated to play each and every game. And, you know, those guys, he revamped his staff over there and got some great coaches with him. And I think they're doing a tremendous job. And you got to come to play against them, no doubt.
Hey, let's talk about their Wildcats. They beat Carroll in what is the Baby Bayou Classic. And great football game, great setting. They were playing over at Carroll.
Yep.
So you knew that thing was rocking. And as you look at some of the highlights, it kind of actually got started on the defensive side, really, for both teams. They came up with big plays. Antrell Green, you saw, went back for the Cats. But Ontario Sellers got a nice interception. But, boy, Carroll was right there, gave it right back to them on their own interception. Wassman finally got things going. Jesse Booker got him into the end zone and put him up 2 scores.
Jesse Booker had 24 carries the other night, 217 yards, 3 touchdowns. Wow. But, Gene, as you pointed out earlier, Wassman had 4 interceptions for the night.
Well, I'll tell you, defense wins championships all the time. Obviously a big ball game against the Farmers.
It's a big game for us this week coming up with Union Parish. We play Friday, November 2nd here at Wassman High School. Come out and support. They're undefeated in district right now, and I'm looking forward to maybe bring them to get a first loss of district and also play for a home playoff seed. That's very important, this implication of this game, playing for a home round playoff game.
All right, Joey, also in 3A football this week is Richwood. They're actually playing their ball game on Thursday night at Sterlington, but before they get too far ahead of the cart, obviously they had a ball game last week. They played over at Madison, and the Jaguars just trying to compete in 3A ball with just 20 kids. It's almost unfair to anybody that takes the field with them.
You know, when you got 20 players, Gene, those guys have got to do everything.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to play kicking game, offense, defense. It wears them out.
Well, I tell you, big hearts over there with the Jaguars. But, boy, Richwood came out in this ball game, and they jumped on it from the get-go. In fact, the opening kickoff, Denquarius Johnson took it, got out to the outside, found a big lane, went 74 yards to the house, and we were only 10 seconds into that thing. And after the Jags went 3 plays and out, they punted, and darn it if it didn't happen again.
Yeah, you know, they had 2 punt returns for the night, but they also blocked 2 punts, Gene, and one of them went for a touchdown. So special teams real good for Richwood.
Well, they may need some of that as they take on Lee Doty and the Panthers tomorrow night.
Sterlington is Sterlington. Coach have those guys coached up. You can't get in there and make mistakes. First and foremost, we have to control the line of scrimmage, offensive line and defensive line. If we don't control the line of scrimmage, we won't have a chance to play with these guys. But I know our guys going to step up and really understand what we're trying to get as far as controlling the line of scrimmage.
All right, pal, let's talk about the Bulldogs, the Sea Dogs. They hosted Waspin. It didn't go as well as planned. The game was tight early, 16-8 at half, if I can recall. But boy, then the light switch flipped for the Wildcats, and that's when they really expanded that thing. Carroll did some pretty good things on the night. Cedric Woods got him in the end zone for a touchdown. But boy, 42-8 turned out to be the final. If there's any hope, they go to Madison on Friday.
Yeah, and I tell you, they got a real good defensive back there at Carroll. His name is Derek Connor. He had 15 tackles, Gene, and an interception the other night. So he's a good player.
Coach, tell us about the Jags.
Now we're playing on Friday. We got Madison High School over in Tallulah. We're looking forward to go over there and play a good game because it's the next game up on the season. But we're trying to send our seniors out the right way.
All right, Tank, appreciate you, man. Hey, 3A football this week. Bolton at Gina. Union again goes to Waspin. Carroll, Madison. Caldwell goes down to Avoyelles Parish. And again, Richwood at Sterlington. That ball game slated for Thursday night. All right, we're going to shift down a couple of gears and talk 1A football. What I thought was perhaps the game of the week, if not maybe one of the games of the year, would certainly be in my top 10, and that was Ouachita Christian at St. Fred's. Andy Robinson had his guys ready to play in all three aspects of the football game last Thursday night, and it was a great game to watch. You're looking at some of the highlights right here. As Andy Williams goes, that's their quarterback, so go the Warriors. And boy, he hooked up with Pat Johnson, who had an incredible football game with a 36-yard touchdown pass earlier, came back and hit a 76-yarder for another one. Very special.
Andy Williams, quarterback, Gene, as you mentioned, he had 133 yards rushing, 210 passing. A good night. Good night.
Well, it took Will Ellender field goal with about a minute and a half or minute 5 left in the ball game to win it for him. But boy, it was a nice W for that football team, and I think they're now 6-2. They play at Delhi this week. Andy?
Thursday night this week, we travel over to play the 7-2 Delhi Bears, another district opponent. Really good football team, very explosive on offense. Playing really good defense this year, flying around to the football, also executing on special teams. So another big challenge for us. We look forward to it. Be definitely a road-type playoff game. Kind of get to see where our team's at to take the field in one of the toughest 1A districts in the state.
I tell you what's going to make that game a little bit more special. You know, Andy grew up in Delhi, played for his dad in Delhi.
That's right.
And this, I think, if he told me right, the first time he's gone back, certainly as a coach in any capacity, playing on the field that he played on as a young man.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty neat.
Now, OCS, the team obviously we just got through talking about a minute ago, it was one of those kind of nights that really kind of created a perfect storm against them a little bit. I was kind of surprised to see, you're looking at some of the plays, they just kind of got in a little trouble with the great outstanding defense that the Warriors had. They had a couple of interceptions. Pat Johnson, like I said, had one of them. They got another one late that when they were coming back trying to win that thing, they got away from them. But boy, don't worry about OCS. They'll get stung by this one a little bit, but it's bounce back time.
You know, and a big turning point in that game, Gene, OCS had 4 turnovers in the second half. So I'm sure Coach Fitzhugh will get that worked out and get back on track for the playoffs.
Well, the good thing about it, they're at home this week hosting Delta Charter. Stephen?
You know, week 10 we'll wrap up the season with Delta Charter coming over here from Faraday, and they have outstanding running back Freddie Mango. I saw this summer that he had committed to Tulane University. Was one of the best running backs that we saw all season last year, and so talented football team that we got to make sure, again, it's week 10, you want to put your best game together. Right here as the playoffs get ready to begin, so we need to play our best game.
All right, the Tigers of Jonesboro Hodge, program that you may know a little bit about.
That's right, that's right.
Had little problems last week.
No, and you know, and that quarterback they got, what a special player he is, Reggie Shallahorn. He was 9 of 15 the other night, Gene. Almost 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. he is one heck of a player.
Well, they romped Ringgold and now get ready to host Green Oaks in the season finale.
Gonna be senior night, and I got 11 special seniors that we're definitely gonna miss. And we know one thing about Green Oaks, they love to sling that ball around. You know, they got some good athletes at receiver. They got a good mobile quarterback. We played them last year, and he came down to the last possession over Shreveport last year. So we know they're gonna come in and give us a good test leading up to week 1 of the playoffs.
Boy, as well as the Tigers played the other night, so did the Cougars of Cedar Creek. They beat that Delta Charter team, but it was their running back who really had a coming out party.
Yeah, he runs hard. Lane Blue, what a player he is.
Big numbers.
Big numbers and tough kid. He runs extremely hard. The quarterback had a rushing touchdown, which kind of got the momentum going.
Lane had over 300 yards rushing. I think it was 5 touchdowns. It was just one of those kind of nights. But they play tomorrow night, and it will not be easy as they take on Oak Grove.
They have 3 guys up front that's just huge, athletic. It's not a typical 1A defensive line that you play. So anybody in 1A that plays Oak Grove is going to have a tough time blocking those guys.
Of course, we can't get out of Class 1A without talking about Haynesville. They are one of just a few teams in our coverage area, so to speak, that are still undefeated. But they beat Homer, and I think that game dates back to 117 some odd years.
Yeah.
It was homecoming over there for the Golden Tours as well. But boy, they're playing so well, and what we thought was going to be a close ball game was anything but.
Yeah, I mean, when you put up 256 yards rushing against Homer, but 6 rushing touchdowns against that Homer defense, that really hurts.
Well, they'll finish up on the victory side once again on Friday. With all due respect to Ringgold, that's who they play this week, and they're playing them up in the Piney Woods. All right, you're looking at the 1A schedule for this week. Again, the Tigers taking on the Cougars, St. Fred's at Delhi, Arcadia at Lincoln Prep. Man, I'm telling you, C.J. Russell, he could run for miles and miles, huh?
Yeah, C.J. Russell, I mean, he might run plumb out of the state this week, Gene. This guy can go. And Lincoln Prep, it's one of those teams too, Gene, that don't have a lot of players.
He had 363 yards and 6 touchdowns last Friday night over at Block. But anyway, there's the rest of the schedule in 1A. Time for us to take a break, and we'll talk more football with the Neville Tigers after this.
At Highcumber Eye Center, restoring your vision is our passion. Pioneering new technology and setting new standards in cataract care. Exclusively at Highcumber Eye Center, we offer the combination of the precision of the Aura as well as the planned accuracy of the Varian Alcon Duet.
Cataract surgery with the Aura and Varian system is the next step in personalized surgery in ophthalmology. It truly improves the patient's vision and improves their lives.
Call to schedule your cataract evaluation.
Enjoy the good times a little more with the right plan. State Farm agent Jeff Lamont is here to help you protect your dreams and loved ones with life insurance. Call Jeff Lamont today to find out which options are best for you. It's just another way we're here to help life go right.
All right, everybody, we are only halfway home here on a Wednesday night as we continue along with the Red Zone, and I appreciate you for joining us. You can see we got Mickey McCarty in the house to talk about the Neville Tigers, who right before we came back in the commercial break, we were talking, playing good football right now. Last 3 weeks, I've noticed a considerable mix offensively and good defense, and you guys are kind of rocking and rolling right now.
Well, we're better off than where we started, put it like that.
Yeah.
We've
Come a long way.
Come a long way. Shown marked improvement, Gene, and credit to our players and staff for just staying with our work. You know, it's just getting better every day is our goal. And, you know, so far this season, our players have worked hard. They've continued to grind with us, and we have seen marked improvement throughout the year.
Well, 2 of these guys are part of the reason why. I don't think they're shy one bit, so introduce them.
Yeah, this is Logan Newell, our starting left tackle. 2 seniors here, and senior defensive end, Lacamian Franklin, 2 pretty good war daddies in the trenches for us. Really proud of their effort. They're 4-year players in our program and good football players, and certainly looking for their leadership as we continue.
Well, guys, welcome aboard. We'll talk a little football. Logan, I'll start with you. Offensively, you guys, it seemed like, at least in our opinion, kind of started off with one system, but as things kind of shifted through the years, you guys have been managing to open things up. But give me your perspective of Tiger offense here in Week 9.
On offense, you always got to be adaptive, and where we play in the trenches, so nothing really changes for us. But we run the 2-quarterback system now, and it's been working pretty well. And when we have both 10 and 12 on the field, we're a pretty potent offense, I'd say.
Well, you're sitting with a couple of guys, a couple of bookends, and Joey and I, who have know all too well what it's like to be down in the trenches, and it's great being down there. It's good to be a part of football, and even played on the defensive side. Lakami, I mean, it's you guys are playing well on that side of the football as well too, shutting down a lot of offenses. Talk to me about that.
Week to week, we adjust our defense to fit the offense. I think we've been doing a pretty good job with that so far. Have young people on the line, which they're stepping up and give them getting play time. Just seeing us work the way we did, like trying to go, we have a place we want to get to, and just we have to play lights out to get to that place.
Well, Kimmy, I know on Friday night, me and Gene and a couple of guys, we do the radio show after the game, and your name's always mentioned on there. One of us is always bringing you up. You must chase the football pretty good, do you?
Yes, sir. I'm always after the ball.
Yeah, he's you chase the football. You like pass rushing more than run protection. Which one you like the best?
I like pass rushing the best. Give me a chance to stretch my legs a little bit.
Yeah, and try to wear out some of them offensive linemen.
Yes, sir.
There
Speed
you go.
is the key.
Hey, Coach, the other night against Franklin Parish, obviously things were clicking well. I felt like that was a game the Patriots thought they had a good shot at, but you guys took that opportunity away from them pretty early. But another example of playing good Tiger football.
Yeah, I thought our defensive team really stepped up. Our coaches had a good plan. Franklin was playing without their trigger man and an LT major the other night, which was a big difference, I think, for them. And game plan wise, but our defense stepped up and played really well throughout the night. I was extremely proud of them, and offense, we got enough points on the board certainly to get the job done.
Hey, Logan, I'm not going to let you get out of here without us talking a little bit about the ball game you guys have this week in Bastrop. I mean, it's been a long time, or not maybe too long ago, where that game hadn't been so much circled like it was in, maybe 10 to 12 years ago. But this is a big ball game this week, isn't it?
Yes,
so
sir.
the preparation, crossing those T's, dotting those I's, a little bit more important.
Yes, sir. We got to prep well every week, no matter who we play. You can't underestimate anybody. And they're strong in the trenches always. They're missing one of their better players, but it doesn't make a difference. They'll have somebody step in. So we got to prep hard all week just so we can dominate.
Well, Mr. Franklin, I know putting pressure on that quarterback is going to be important because as they go with their air attack, I mean,
We've got to have pressure on the quarterback, get him on the move a little bit, try to disrupt his rhythm because he's a very good athlete. Versatile, so that's the key. That's the key for the whole line is try to get pressure on the quarterback.
Coach McCarty, let me ask you something. Y'all moving y'all's game to Thursday night in the course of playoffs of next week. It's extremely important to go out and have a good showing on this 10th playing day.
You'd like to, obviously, everyone in the state that's looking ahead to playoffs and have a chance to make it want to carry momentum into it, as you know. And both of these teams that have played our place Thursday night want the same thing. They want a district championship. We want momentum. We just want to continue to ride in the wave of good play. And both teams have played well this year. And Bastrop's outstanding. They're a senior-laden team. And so it's going to be a heck of a fight Thursday night at Ruppel Stadium.
Hey, I don't want you getting out of here without asking your thoughts on reclassification. Joey and I, back at the beginning of the show, kind of talked about who was going where, and with West Ouachita probably right now at least looking like they're going to 5A. Boy, that strips that 4A district down to 3 of you guys.
It really does. We were honestly disappointed not to get Ouachita down with us. I knew they were close and talking to Coach Fitzgerald and West Ouachita we knew was close to move up, and they were right there on the bubble. So really, we don't know what's going to happen at this point. I'm always hopeful for a big district. We've been unable to get that accomplished the last several years.
So I'm
hopeful. Yeah, I'm hopeful we can get a few more teams in our district.
And every 2 years we go through this, don't we, Coach? And when the teams change like that, because Neville is over here in the northeast part of the state with only 3 teams in the district, there's no telling where they're going to send y'all.
There's not. Only speculation at this point. Obviously, we've been to Shreveport before, back in the early 2000s, and we've had some elite teams join us just a few years ago in our district.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. It'll be some meetings coming up, as you know, and there'll be some lobbying going on, I'm sure. But
none of that.
Yeah. But these Neville Tigers will be ready to play wherever they put us. We're going to line up and get after it. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, buddy.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey guys, have a strong senior year. Finish it out. You'll remember it the rest of your life, I promise you. Mickey, thanks for the time as always.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, folks, commercial break time. Still a lot more football to talk about, and we'll do that after we take a quick timeout.
Hi, I'm Ross Downs. Has a car wreck turned your life into a mess? Let me handle all that stress. For over 20 years, I've represented thousands of clients and have recovered tens of millions of dollars on their behalf. I aggressively take on the big insurance companies.
I'm Earl Ross Downs. Is an insurance company bullying you around? Hire the Downs Law Firm. We won't back down.
Car wreck, big truck wreck? Call us now at 325-7677.
As a local business owner, one of the things I like to do is work with other local businesses. And when we started our company back in 1995, one of the things we realized that we needed for our employees was a quality health insurance plan. That's why finding a company like Vantage that's a local company that provides quality health care and networks with other doctors was just a natural fit for us. If you're a local business owner and you're looking for a quality health insurance plan, I suggest that you give Vantage a call. I think you'll be just as satisfied with their product as I have been.
You're the first one up in the morning. You're ready for the day, and you've got a lot to do. But sometimes you need a bigger shovel. For over 17 years, Kepper Dirt and Equipment Rental has been keeping the big boys in the big toys. Doesn't matter if you're a hunter, farmer, contractor, or you just like getting dirty. We've got the steel to get the job done right. Kepper Dirt and Equipment Rental. Work done right.
All right, everybody, we are back, and since we just had the Tigers on the show, we might as well keep talking 4A football. But I'm going to reach over there and do this for Joey because I'm a great guy. So while you're talking about the Rams win over West Washita, I'm going to get into a little garlic parmesan. Boy, they really got after it, as you see at some of the highlights. They were up 19-7 in the third, but I'll tell you, the Chiefs really kind of dominated, ran up and down the field all night, but they took advantage of 2 turnovers and got a pick 6.
And that's the kind of story of West Washita. They move the ball extremely good all year, and they get the ball down in the red zone and turn it over. But Bastrop's so explosive. They got so much explosion, Gene, and they can score at any time on anywhere on the field.
Well, tomorrow night, we'll see what they got. They go to Neville.
Neville is the consummate program. Year in, year out, you know what you're going to get from them. Good offense, good defense, good special teams, well coached, hard-fought game. This rival dates back to even the first time when I was coaching back when we was winning state championships. Unfortunately, we've been on the wrong side of that coin for the past couple of years, and hopefully we can get us a win this year.
Hey, look, West Washita, scary moment, too, for their receiver, Jacoby Holland. Boy, he got hit hard shortly before the half, within a minute left, knocked unconscious, and there was a lot of other issues that we were certainly concerned about. But he went home Sunday afternoon and doing better. Won't play this week, but hey, kudos to West Washita. 48-minute football game. They held the ball for 33 minutes of that thing. They really did move the ball up and down the field.
And their fullback, Alfred Cole, real tough kid. A hard-nosed kid. He had 117 yards, 23 carries, and that's what Matt Middleton's trying to do is, shorten the game up, stay on the field offensively.
And they're doing it.
And they're doing it.
No question about it. Well, the ticket this week, as they go to Franklin Parish, they've got to win this football game to make the playoffs.
There's no question. We win. We feel like we're in. So it's a lot that's come down to the very end of the season. It's a little frustrating that we've had a chance early on in several games to not be in this situation, but at least we got a chance to hold our own destiny. So we're playing a great football team, and Witt's going to have them rolling. They're in, but it's going to be a great atmosphere Thursday night.
Of course, the other team remaining in 4A football, Franklin Parish. obviously playing West Ouachita. They lost to Neville at their own place. They got that special dedication going on tomorrow night. That's going to be great for all the old Winsboro High School alum. So hopefully you'll come out and enjoy the night.
When we play West Ouachita on November 1st, we're going to honor that 1967 state runner-up team. And we're going to have Coach Jimbo Murphy will be down here. He's going to sit in for his father, and all 3 of his assistants are all still alive, all still going to be here. And I think we've reached close to 35 or 40 people who are on that team, several all-state players. And we're going to have a big tent in the end zone that night and cook a little bit to eat. And we're going to get as many pictures as we can, and we're going to let them have a big night.
Okay, here we go with a 4-way schedule. Bastrop at Neville and West Ouachita at Franklin Parish. Let me remind all y'all that is on Thursday night. And Gene, let's head over to our private schools and talk about River Oaks.
Unfortunately, we really only have one left. I think Union Christian has a bye as they go into the opening weeks of the postseason. But the Mustangs got a nice win this past Friday night. They were at home, taking on a team they were relatively familiar with, Greenville Christian. You're looking at some of the highlights of that football game. They got up early on them with a nice effort there on a 4th down. The nice defense from Nick Perino. That was on the defensive side, but boy, they did a lot of good things the other night. There's the handoff to Tyndall that picked up big yardage. He went off the right side for a 38-yard pickup. They eventually threw a nice pass for a touchdown. But boy, River Oaks is in a nice spot right now, but they're taking their show on the road to take on the 4 seed in Brookhaven.
We get to travel to Brookhaven Academy, Brookhaven, Mississippi, second round of the playoffs. Looking forward to it. You know, watching them on film. A well-coached team, some good skilled athletes, big offensive and defensive linemen. So quite a challenge, but we're looking forward to it.
All right, Joey, my man, 8-man football. They're still playing that as well. And guess what? They are in the postseason this Friday night. And Tallulah Academy is the #1 seed. They are hosting Sharkey Esquina. Prairie View will go on the road down to Tensaw, and Briarfield Academy taking on Manchester, who is the #2 seed. It all makes for an interesting week of private league football, both 11-man and 8-man. Commercial break time, everybody. When we come back, we talk 5A football and a little 2A as well. So stay with us here on the Red Zone.
If chronic pain limits your life, the doctors at Louisiana Pain Care can offer non-surgical treatments like epidural steroid injections.
An epidural steroid injection is a non-surgical treatment we perform for neck, mid-back, and low back pain. Spinal injections should be performed by a board-certified specialist, and we are the only board-certified pain management doctors here in Northeast Louisiana. Most patients return to their normal activities right away.
If chronic pain limits your life, see the specialist at Louisiana Pain Care.
Fox 14, the official home for NFL and New Orleans Saints football.
All right, everybody, Wednesday night, we appreciate you sharing your time with us here on the Ross Downs Red Zone. Again, Joey Pender, Gene Ponte sitting in with you as we come to you from Go Wings. And in case you haven't been here, come check them out, everybody. They're located right off of 165 on Desert as you make your way to the university here on the right. Great food. We've shown you that a couple of times tonight, but it is worth doing it again. Come by and tell them you saw us on the show. West Monroe, they put on a show against Ouachita, and every year it's worth the build up, but goodness gracious, they haven't lost a district game in 88 straight going into this ball game. Yeah. They had their 23rd district title on the line, and they played like it was.
Yeah. You know, you'd think that a school like West Monroe would have an off night, Gene, hit a couple of bumps in the road before you could turn
Jerry
around.
told me they had an off night. I'm just kidding.
Well, it was 28-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
You know, bam, it just happens real quick.
Yeah.
What a program they got over there.
Boy, no question about it. And like you said, man, they got after it early. They threw a nice big pass early. And boy, Common Garrett's doing a great job at that spot. Tanner Zorden pounced on another fumble. That was one of the things that I thought did Ouachita in on the ensuing kickoff. Then Cam Wright took it to the boundary for a 38-yard touchdown to make it 14-zip. And, man, it just got, well, ugly after that. And they were out of it before we got really too deep into that thing. And it was just one of those kind of nights. Western Monroe outgained Washington 252-84 in total yards in the first half. I think Wright had a $172 and 3 touchdowns on 19 carries. Very impressive with the win. This week, though, back at home to wrap things up against the Chiefs. You know, as well as West Monroe played, so did the Ruston Bearcats. They had Natchitoches Central in the house. It was senior night. It was homecoming for the Bearcats. And, man, they just got out and, well, a little TCB.
Yeah, they sure did. That quarterback Ruston has over there, Jared Ball's got a heck of a young man there, Eric Outley. What a great night he had. He was 10 of 14 passing, 266 yards. And he also had 10 rushes for 140 yards, and he combined for 3 touchdowns.
Well, they put 62 points on the board Friday night, and they'll try to wrap things up in just as equally impressive fashion as they go down to Pineville on Friday night. Coach?
I think Coach Dunn is doing a good job putting a football program together there like he has everywhere else he's been. They started out winning a bunch of ball games early on and then hit our tough district and have struggled a little bit, but I think he's putting things together.
Of course, we talked about Washington a minute ago, a tough loss to the Rebels. Jeff Fitzgerald told us on the radio on the tailgate show that he thought his team was going to be ready to play, but he also warned us, too, that it doesn't take much, and that's the way that team has to overcome adversity, and they've had trouble with that. Once that little hole in the wall opens up, boy, it just seems to flood after that. But anyway, he still has a good football team. I'm convinced of that, and I think they've got a chance to make a lot of noise in the playoffs. But anyway, our Chris Demersion went out and talked with them about that ball game and what's ahead for the Lions. Chris?
All right, Gene and Joey, thanks. I'm at the Lions Den, Washita High School. Got Jeff Fitzgerald with me. Coach, we're already in Week 10, playoffs. These games just seem to come by really fast, don't they?
Man, they do. You know, when you start out the season, you think, boy, this is, you know, it's never going to get here. Oh, we've been working all summer. When are we finally going to get to play somebody? And then one of our coaches said, you know, well, we got Ash this week, and man, it's already Week 10. And I'm like, ooh, when you hear Week 10, that really changes the way everything sounds. So, man, it does. The days drag on, but the weeks fly by. And the next thing you know, you blink your eyes and here you are at the end of the season.
Absolutely. You know, obviously last week, a couple of mistakes on special teams and defense. It's a learning experience for you guys, correct, going into the playoffs?
Obviously, you know, anytime you make mistakes, you want to call it a learning experience. And, you know, and we do have some things to learn from it. And our guys played hard. And West Monroe's a great football team. Boy, they've got one of the best defenses I think that we've seen them have in a long, long time.
Coach, we were talking about it a little bit before, but your defensive line and part of your O-line is playing some exceptional football this year.
They are. You know, we're doing a really good job on our defensive line. And you know, you can talk about Carl Glass, our linebacker, every week, leads our team in tackles. But those guys on the defensive line, and Brendan Hardy and Jacquez Jackson, Julius John Lewis, Keyshawn Lewis, those guys, man, they've been playing their tails off. And you know, they don't have quite the stats because they're only playing on part of the field, or they're playing in the middle. And man, but they have a huge impact, and that's probably one of the reasons that Carl has so many tackles is because of those guys. And then at the same time, you know, you look at Chon Xavier Lewis leading our team in rushing, Dylan just a few yards behind him, and those guys are bumping out some major yardage every week. And well, it doesn't come by themselves. You know, it happens through the efforts of that offensive line. And, you know, 3 guys that have really stood out on that offensive line and have been consistent week after week is Alvin Kai and Avery Turner. Alvin Kai's our left tackle, Avery Turner our left guard, and then with obviously Chris Doyle, our center, who is a returner and is doing a tremendous job.
And they're battle tested. I think we all know 5A in Northeast Louisiana is probably one of the toughest, if not the toughest, in the state of Louisiana. You have Russ and West Monroe, so many good 5A teams. How does it help them, I guess, facing all those squads throughout the year?
You definitely know where your weaknesses are when you do that, you know. And we played a pretty good pre-district schedule, and then obviously our district, like you say, is really strong. And you know, it's another test this week. Ash is a great football team. I'd say probably the best football team they've had there, and since they've been 5A. And so they're extremely explosive, and they're good on defense as well. So they're a good team, and another hard battle.
That being said, you see Ash, I see 7-2. We're like, wait a minute, when was the last time Ash was 7-2? And talking to another coach recently, they're referencing their offense and the way Thomas Bachman has turned that around.
They do play really good offense, but I believe the strength of their team this year, and I don't want to take anything away from their offense because they are really good offensively, but man, the strength of their team this year is their defense. I mean, they haven't been near as strong as they are right now defensively, and man, they are very, very tough defensively. They got a couple of LSU commitments and a defensive tackle and a DB, and man, they're really, really salty.
Coach, I don't know how often you guys talk to your kids about this, but with a win on a Friday night, you guys could host a playoff game in Week 11. Is that even a topic of conversation in the locker room?
Man, we're 1 week at a time. And we've been 1 week at a time all season long, and we're going to continue to be 1 week at a time moving forward.
Coach, you mentioned their great defense down in Alexandria. What's going to take for you guys to somehow find a little hole in that running game, or perhaps the passing game to defeat Ash on Friday night?
We've got to take care of the football. It boils down to blocking and tackling every week and taking care of that football, and that's something they've done a really good job this year of getting takeaways. They're definitely on the plus side of things with their turnovers, and so we've got to do a great job of taking care of the football, knowing that they're trying to strip that football.
Playing on Thursday night, you lose, I'm sure, a day of practice, but is that an issue for you guys?
At this time of year, I don't mind playing on Thursday night. Early in the year, it's probably an issue. You're still trying to get some things going, but at this point in time, I mean, we're going to do what we do, and we know they're going to do what they do, and so, we're just going to go get after it.
All right, Coach Fitzgerald and his Ouachita Lions playing on Thursday night, not Friday, but Thursday at Alexandria Senior High. All right, Gene and Joey, back to you in the studio.
All right, everybody, that 5A schedule. Make note again, West Monroe, they moved their game, so they are playing Thursday night against Natchitoches Central. Ruston at Pineville is on Friday. Ouachita taking on the Trojans of Ash. That game is Thursday as well. All right, should make for an interesting Thursday night of 5A football. The best team in 2A and a top 5 state team in the state right now, at least as far as the power ratings go, are those Faraday Trojans. Congratulations, Coach. You guys are playing well again. Boy, just got all over Delhi Charter. We're going to show you some of those highlights, but we couldn't go without mentioning just how strong this football team is. Kobe Dillon was a guy who dropped back to pass, hit Tyrus Turner, made a nice move, broke a couple of tackles, went in for the touchdown from 27 yards out, and after forcing the Gators to turn it over in 3 plays, Dominion Milligan was one of the guys. He and his brother had a great night.
Well, actually, they're first cousins, Gene.
Oh, okay.
And both of them accounted for. His first cousin is Byron Milligan, and they combined for 4 touchdowns. What a good night to help Coach Stanley Smith.
Well, I'll tell you, they're very, very impressive, and they beat the Gators by a score of 59-2. Of course, they're partners in Concordia Parish of Idalia, another team that is in the top 10 as it relates to power ratings. They looked equally as impressive, I thought, Joey. They were over at Mangum the other night, and boy, just jumped on the Dragons. And what was a close ball game early, 14-14. Tristan Weatherly finally kind of got things going. He passed out to Simpson to get a touchdown to put him up 20-14. They made the 2-point conversion and just rolled after that, winning it by a score of 40-14. Of course, Mangum trying to hang in there for the better part of things. It's been a tough year for Coach Tommy Thorpe, very, very young. He'll finish things up on Friday night with a big ball game on the road and out of district play at Vornado.
We have to make the trip down to almost near Bogalusa, Angie, Louisiana, to play a really good 1A team who beat us last year. And they, like us, have struggled this year. But when I look on film, boy, it's hard to see it. They got 3 or 4 athletes. It's going to be a problem for us.
Hey, speaking of non-district matchup, Rayville got stuck with one of those in Week 9. They had Loyola out of Shreveport come over to town, and as we look at some of the highlights, the Flyers really took it to them, Joey. Here in the second quarter, quarterback Jacob Allen threw the perfect ball over his shoulder to Jackson Kerr. He was able to haul it in for a nice pickup, and even though the drive stalled, this thing was really dominated in surprising fashion by Loyola, and they ended up winning that thing by a score of 28-20. But Rayville, still good football team.
Still good football team. Jalen Quarles, the running back, had 2 touchdowns. 106 yards rushing, and I think he's a young kid too, Gene.
Well, this is going to be an interesting matchup this week. They take on General Trask.
Going into Week 10 is always pivotal. Everybody's kind of checking their power ranking, see where they are, trying to crunch the number to see where they may land. But we're trying to finish up district. We got a very tough General Trask team, 7-2 going until Friday night's ball game. Very athletic. Coach Well has done a great job with that team. So we're looking forward to going down to Lake Providence and closing out district and seeing we come away with a win.
All right, a couple of minutes ago, I made mention of Delhi Charter. Tough loss, 59-2. It's not going to get a whole lot easier for them as they try to get ready for Week 10.
No, their linebacker had a good night the other night with 8 solo tackles. His name is Hayden Arledge, and he's going to have a big night this Friday.
Well, I asked Coach about keeping that momentum going as you move into the postseason.
We finish up with Vidalia, which, Coach Faircloth there is doing a great job and got those guys rolling. I think they made it to the second round last year. So the kids are working hard, and, that's our goal is to get a home playoff game.
Here we go with a 2A schedule. Beekman Charter is at Faraday, Northwood Lena at Dorborn Woods, Delhi Charter at Vidalia, Rayville at General Trask, and Mangum at Vardenhoe. Now, we're tossed to break, and we'll be right back here in just a minute.
At Sonic, we're dedicated to the future of this community.
That's why we're a proud sponsor of the Sonic Drive-In Red Zone Scholarship.
A $2,000 scholarship will be awarded to a deserving high school senior, and in turn will be used to help further his or her education at the college of that student's choice.
Applications can be picked up at any participating Sonic Drive-In in Monroe, West Monroe, Jonesboro, or Winfield, and all entries are due in or before November 12th. Sonic Drive-In and Red Zone, proving students are winners.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ross Downs Red Zone here on a Wednesday night. Certainly hope you have enjoyed the show. A lot of football to be played tomorrow night and Friday as we wrap up the regular season. And, of course, we're going to be here for another 3 weeks all the way up until Turkey Day talking high school football. So we've got a lot of chicken to eat. And
Yes,
I think
sir.
Christina, I think I told her to bring us a drink or something to get us through the break. And she's been great taking care of us. All this great food that you sent through the course of the show. Christina,
Hey.
welcome to television.
Thank you.
Pretty good stuff, huh?
Yes, it is.
All right, tell us about your favorite wings and why you think everybody needs to come check us out at Go Wings.
Okay, so here at Go Wings, our flavors are different and more unique than the average wing stop. My favorite is
Come on, tell us.
sweet red chili. 'Cause
Sweet
it's-
who?
Sweet red chili.
Honey, hush.
The sweet red chili because it's sweet and heat.
And I thought this was pretty hot. Well, Christina will take great care of you. And folks, again, we're at Go Wings here in Monroe. All right, appreciate you very much.
You're so welcome.
All right, girl. All right, so I'm not kidding you. Great personality and great food, so come by and see us at Go Wings. Anything else you want to say? Other than I know we've got radio to take care of Friday night on K104 and KMLB.
Well, I tell you what, this is a great time of the year, Gene. To me, this is the most, if you're a high school football fan, this is what it's all about. People are fighting to land where they're going to land in the playoffs. Win here, this team loses over here. Some people get bumped in, some get bumped out, and there's a lot of coaches sitting on the edge of the seat right now.
You and I better not be one of them.
No, we might be in trouble.
We would be in big trouble. Again, appreciate the folks here at Go Wings, and we look forward to being back with you here next Wednesday night for another edition of the Red Zone. Hey, do not forget to get by Sonics, Monroe, West Monroe, Jonesboro, Winfield. Get an application. We're giving away a $2,000 scholarship here in a couple of weeks. All right, for everybody involved with the show, have a great week, everybody.
Touchdown, Bearcats.
Greeley again on the carry for the Tigers. Touchdown. Morris Bell.